welcome to this week's serving of Mickey Waffles, a Disney podcast where we cover everything from parks, movies, and merchandise. My name is Sinead.
My name's Kate. Hi guys. Merry Christmas.
We're back!
Ba-ba-bum!
I feel like this episode that I recorded with Nathan is just cursed because every time I go to edit it, something goes wrong. So maybe I'll try to re-record that at some stage.
And then I can be on it.
Hey, there we go.
Maybe it was meant to be. Maybe the podcast gods were like, no.
Exactly. So we do apologise for our unintentional hiatus, but whilst I was here freezing my arse off in Ireland, Kate was off in DLP.
Also freezing.
But at least you're in Disneyland.
Yeah, it's not like it was warm there.
No.
I actually bought a pair of jeans before I went because I realised that all my jeans, I don't think they're like summer jeans, but they're not very like thick. Yeah. And so I went to Marks & Spencer's and bought like a nice pair of jeans. And as soon as I put them on the fitting room, I was like, oh yeah, these are going to be way warmer. So yeah, I wore like heavy jeans and like a top, a jumper, and my big jacket, and my scarf, and my gloves. It was cold.
Yeah, it was not very pleasant. And it certainly hasn't been pleasant this week in Ireland either, so...
This week's been awful.
Yeah.
So much rain.
Like
heavy rain.
You'd think after living here for so long we'd be used to it, but...
No.
Such is the life of an Irish person if you're not whinging about the rain. So yeah, we're going to have a chat about your DLP trip.
Yes.
And how you got on. And all to do with Christmas, which I can only imagine you're thrilled.
Christmas!
But in the meantime, I suppose we should get on with a bit of news.
Let's start with Frozen.
Yes.
Frozen 2. We both gone to see it now.
Yes, we have.
And we both think it's pretty damn good.
I liked it so much more than I thought it would.
I liked it so much, I'm definitely going to go see it again.
See, I feel like I'd never really go to the cinema. I feel like it's more of a thing for me to go to the cinema. You and I go to the cinema a lot.
Yeah, we're very cinema people. We love the pictures.
Whereas me and Bref, it has to be like, we always say we're going to go see things more often, but we never do. So I rarely see anything twice in the cinema.
Oh no, I'll go see something. Like if I like it, I'll go see it 3 times. Because I enjoy the cinema experience.
Yeah.
I saw Mary Poppins 3 times in the cinema. Because I was like, yes, these songs are everything. Give me more. I want to hear them in surround sound before I have to watch them on my little dingy phone.
Fair. So what do you think of it?
I thought it was great. I think they handled everything very well. They handled the whole, it's been 5 years since our last movie very well. The songs, I really like the songs. I know that you mentioned that you don't think they hold as well as the originals.
Yeah.
But I wonder, is that because it's like instilled in you that the originals hold so well?
I don't know. I feel like, I don't think the soundtrack is bad. I just don't think it's as strong as the first one. I think a lot of the songs are quite forgettable. And again, that's just my opinion, and I haven't listened to it a whole lot, but I don't know, the only one that kind of stuck in my head was Into the Unknown. But the rest of them, I couldn't tell you what they sound like.
See, I've been listening to the Frozen soundtrack on repeat since I watched the movie.
Okay.
Because I was going to listen to the soundtrack before I saw the movie. But then I was like, that's going to ruin the movie for you.
Yes.
So I refrained, and I watched the movie, and every single song I was like, this is hilarious. Like, the non-heartfelt songs were hilarious. So I've listened to it on repeat. And the opening song, fantastic. That when you re-listen to the lyrics, they're very funnily written. Then, obviously, Into the Unknown is great. Panic at the Disco's version of Into the Unknown is fantastic.
I mean, it's Panic at the Disco, so obviously it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. Then, Kristoff's song's great. Anna's song's great. I just really enjoy all the songs.
Fair.
I think they're placed really well. I think they work really well in the movie. I said to Sinead before, I felt like this movie watched more like a musical rather than a film with music with songs in it.
Yeah.
Like I was like halfway through the movie and I was like, I actually feel like I'm watching a musical unfold like on a stage almost.
Yeah.
And how you could basically take that entire script and slap it on a stage.
And they probably will.
And that's the thing. Ed was like, they probably will. And I was like, it's like Cursed Child, part 1 and part 2. I was like, if you had Frozen part 1 and part 2 and you went saw part 1, then had dinner and then go saw part 2, you'd be laughing. Fantastic. So yeah, really enjoyed it. I thought the handling of the characters was very good. Everyone aged very well. Top notch.
I really liked it. I have my issues with Frozen 1, but I thought it was very self-aware. Like, it was a lot funnier. than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I think it was so funny because
it just took the piss out of itself.
Yeah, because they were so self-aware, but in like a good way. It wasn't like a really, really stupid way. Everything was it was thought through very well. Yeah.
I liked Olaf much more than I ever did because I think Josh Gad is one of the most irritating people in the world, but I really liked Olaf in this movie. I thought the like 60-second recap of Frozen was gas.
Oh my god, it was so funny.
So good. I felt like visually it's definitely still a movie for kids, but I thought the actual storyline really wasn't.
No, the storyline was
very heavy at times.
And not putting spoilers in, but like there's certain points in the movie where like it like just fully resonates with adults.
Yeah.
Because like it would be something where it would go over the kid's head completely, but the kid watching it would be like, wow, this is amazing. Look at all these colours.
Yeah.
But an adult's like, oh my god, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, so I thought it had a really good hybrid of still being able to appeal to kids with having the really cute little sidekick, which, what is that thing called?
The salamander?
Yeah. Spicy Pascal, as I've been calling it.
Yeah, no, what's he called? It's not Demi.
Is it Bruni?
Bruni, that's the one, yeah.
Like having the cute little sidekicks like him, having the characters that everybody knows and loves, having the pretty horse. Like all of that is obviously still very appealing to kids, but a lot of the kind of moments in it are very heavy, and definitely more kind of something that would resonate with even like stuff mainly to do with like the political climates and everything that's going on in the world at the minute. Let's call a spade a spade. So I thought they handled that very well. They kept a kind of good balance with it. I also think the new 10 million different dresses that Anna and Elsa wore throughout the movie were beautiful. And clearly there's going to be a costume version of every single one of those because Disney are smart and like to make that dollar.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. There's a Kristoff costume.
Is there?
Yeah,
oh,
I saw it in Disneyland. It comes with a little foam axe.
Did we? I feel like we had a Kristoff costume at some stage. I don't think they lasted very long though.
I never remember selling a Kristoff costume. I remember selling Olaf costumes.
And they were ridiculous.
They were.
But yeah, what would you give it out of 10?
I'm gonna go with a solid 9.
Okay.
Because I loved pretty much every second of it. Like every 5 seconds, I was like, oh! And I was like, oh! And like it was one of those movies. It was really, do you know what? It was really wholesome that I didn't really know what was gonna happen.
Okay.
Like there was the whole issue with the pictures on the Instagram, whatever. But like, I didn't know, like, oh, did you know in this part of the movie that Elsa does this? And oh, do you know when they wrote this song that they were thinking of this? And like, I could hear the songs for the first time and not be like, oh, I've heard the song 20,000 times before.
Which is funny because this is the first big Disney movie you've seen since you left.
Yeah, like proper Disney movie. Like, obviously I saw like Endgame and all that sort of stuff. But, which counts but doesn't count because like there's only so much you can give away in a Marvel movie anyway.
But like how ridiculous is it that when did you leave Disney?
Around this time last year. It would have been like a month ago this year. So like a year and a month.
And this is the first like Disney animated, like, because Toy Story I feel like doesn't really count because that was a sequel.
Yeah, like
do you know what I mean?
It's
and this is still a sequel, but it's still kind of a brand new.
It was a brand new story. Like Toy Story could only go one way. Toy Story, but like I loved it. I enjoyed it so much. Like it was so refreshing. Like I didn't know what anybody was gonna say. I didn't know how the story was gonna go. I was like intently listening to the words of the songs
to pick up those nuances,
and
stuff.
That sort of stuff. And there was like bits in the movie where I actually only copped what was gonna happen 5 seconds before it happened. Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, this is this. And Ed was like, shut up. And I was like, but I figured it out before the movie did it.
There was people sitting behind me in Breffni that were doing exactly that. They'd be like, I bet this is going to happen. And I was honestly getting to the stage where I was going to turn around and be like, can you please shut the fuck up? Because, oh my God, it was just so irritating. But I never want to go see a movie like that with you if that's what you're like.
Oh, no, I only do it to Ed.
That's fine.
I don't do it to other people. But it was more of a like an endearing, and I was like, oh, it's gonna this. Because it was like, I was like, oh. But yeah, great movie.
I really enjoyed it. I would probably give it an 8 just because I don't think the soundtrack is as strong, but overall I did really enjoy it. And I was just saying to Kate, it kind of gives us a real idea of how Arendelle in Paris is probably going to look. Because you didn't really get to see it in the first one. You only saw like tiny little glimpses of it.
Yeah, you don't see any like wide shots of it because you don't need to. But this movie has a lot more to do with surrounding areas of Arendelle. So there's a lot more wider shots and it's all very interesting.
Yeah, so I'm intrigued to see how much of the second movie they weave into the land. One thing which the internet kind of lost its goddamn mind about, which I'm kind of fully in support of, is the Disney parks decided that rather than have Anna and Elsa, and we will try do this as spoiler free as we can possibly have it, but the Disney parks, I assumed, would have maybe swapped Anna and Elsa over to their travelling outfits, which we had seen on all the promo stuff, and it's all we'd really seen. They're the only costumes they'd released in the Disney store and stuff like that. However, what the parks decided to do was just skip right over them and go right to
the end of the movie.
Yeah. And their finale costumes and their finale accessories. Yeah. Which, shall we say.
Just by like a quick glance ruins the entire movie, like plot wise. Obviously the movie was still fantastic because I happened upon these pictures on Instagram because everybody was putting them on their feed. Yeah. And everyone was like, stop sharing them. And the people that were sharing them were like, well, if Disney put it up, I can put it up. And you're like, you're missing the point though.
Yeah. So it was really frustrating because, I mean, it didn't massively care about whether I got it spoiled or not, but a very big Disneyland Paris Twitter account posted a picture of the characters from Hong Kong Disneyland and with this particular thing, and one of the photos in particular gives away something that happens at the end of the movie in particular, and everybody really wasn't happy about it and was like, why are you doing this? It's only just come out in Europe, it hasn't even come out in the UK and Ireland yet, like what are you doing? And kind of just gave a snotty, well, if Disney think it's okay to do it in Hong Kong, why can't we post it? And it was just a bit, lads, come on.
Yeah. So yeah, all I can say is that if you have seen the photos, but you haven't yet gone to see Frozen, it's still a great movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, it is quite, as most Disney movies are with their ending, it's like about halfway through the movie you see where it's going to go anyway. Yeah. So it's not a massive like chink into watching the movie, but yeah, it's slightly annoying. But the movie's still great.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's everything for Frozen. The only other thing that we had that is kind of Frozen related is they released some pictures of the Frozen snacks that will be available during the Frozen season, which is starting on
the 20th of January?
I think it's the 11th.
Where did I get the 20th from?
I don't know. I could be wrong. I think it's the 11th though. The picture that I have doesn't have the exact dates. But there's an Elsa shortbread cookie, which is just shortbread coloured because the other one is like pink. So, and that has Nutella in the centre. Nutella in a shortbread cookie at Disneyland Paris. Whoever would have thought? There's also an Anna shortbread cookie, which is like kind of like a pinky colour, and that has strawberry jam in the middle. Again, what a novel idea. And then there's the Frozen Gang Eclair. So, with a white chocolate slab, it says. So, it's a white chocolate slab that has... It's kind of painted to look like a tree, and it has like the autumnal leaves on it, and then it has outlines of the kind of 5 main characters in Frozen. So, I don't know what's on the inside. I can only assume it's just like cream, or maybe it's Nutella. Who knows? But either way, some little sneak peeks of some snacks.
Delightful.
Exactly.
Then speaking of watching things.
Yes.
With the release of Disney Plus, we may have possibly watched some things.
Yes.
On some certain platforms. So, we have both watched The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Up to date.
Which is up to episode 3.
And I've watched just the first episode of The Imagineering Story.
And I've watched the second episode of The Imagineering Story. And I'm waiting for the third episode to become available to me.
Excellent. What do we think of The Mandalorian? I'll go first. It's great.
Baby Yoda.
When it first... Oh, this is like total
Baby
spoilers. Fuck Frozen. Like, Frozen, spoiler free.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. You cannot go online not see Baby Yoda memes everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
He's just the cutest thing.
He's fantastic. Have you seen my favourite one? My favourite one is the one with the boyfriend and the girl and the other girl. Have you seen that one?
Yes.
Where it's like... All the droids and porgs, and then Baby Yoda.
I think it was a girl called Jo, who I know from when I worked in Vans, she posted a meme and it was a picture of the Ewoks and it was like, we're the cutest thing in Star Wars. And then it goes to the porgs and it was like, no, we're the cutest thing in Star Wars. And then it's Yoda being like, hold my beer, you shall.
Oh, it's just so cute.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
Yeah, I think the storyline's really good. As someone, now in all fairness, we all know this, I'm not like, I enjoy Star Wars,
yeah,
but I'm not as big as a Star Wars fan as a lot of other people are, just because like I didn't grow up with it the same way and it didn't have that much of a big impact. I'm loving it.
I really like it.
I think every time the score comes on and there's any form of like music, I'm always like, wow, the soundtrack is phenomenal.
The soundtrack is really great, and this has just reminded me of, there's like a bit at the end of Frozen, and again, I'm not going to put spoilers in, okay, but there's a bit at the end of Frozen where I just kind of leaned over to Bethany and I was like, this is feeling real Star Warsy, and he was like, yeah, isn't it? I don't know what the particular song was or what the moment was, but it was fair Star Warsy. But yes, I love The Mandalorian. I think they've done a really good job of making it feel very different to the current trilogy that we're coming to the end of.
Which is great.
It does feel like it fits within the world of the original trilogy, or obviously like before them. Like it feels older, but it's still very crisp and the effects are great and all that kind of stuff. I really, really like it. I think it's great and I'm very excited.
I really like it, and I think it's really funny as well in the right places. It's not like everything's hilarious.
Yeah.
But there's like funny bits in it. Like it's handled very, very well. And also one of my Ned's favourite things is that on the end credits, the concept art for the episode is played underneath the closing credits, which we love.
Yeah.
Like it's such a good, because we watch the entire closing credits because we're looking at all the concept art.
Yeah. And
like it's such a clever way, not necessarily to like get people to stay through the closing credits, because I don't know how like important that is.
Yeah.
But it's just a great use of time and stuff you already had. Like you just needed to like put it up there.
Yeah. I really, really enjoy it. I knew I was going to like it and I was really, really excited for it. But I have to say the Imagineering story is like my favourite thing. It makes my heart so happy.
I think we both really enjoy like Disney history.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. Like a lot of this information is information that like is already out there. But hearing it from the people that it actually happened to is just fab.
There's a podcast that I listen to about Drag Race. And they do a thing each episode where they have a best supporting actress. So it's somebody that doesn't necessarily win that week's challenge or the episode or anything like that, but it's somebody that has a really great like story arc throughout it. Can we give Bob Gurr a best supporting actress award for him in that first episode? Because like, and we mentioned it on the last episode that we recorded that everyone was crying watching the Imagineering story. I cried once and it was because of Bob Gurr, because he's just the cutest little old man.
Yeah, and his little jumper just pottering through the fast queues, like, excuse me.
And like getting his little shot with the basketball, and it was just Episode 2, so the first episode, it covers Disneyland from kind of the concept right the way up until Walt dies, basically.
Yeah.
And it's really great getting to hear a lot from the Imagineers that built Disneyland kind of firsthand about what it was like, and just being like, I just had to learn physics and that's how I created the Matterhorn.
Yeah, I had to learn trigonometry and I didn't do that in high school, so well.
It's so like mind-boggling how these people just came up with it. It's like, I'm just going to figure out how I'm going to make a load of metal have the same movements as a human hand.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it.
And we just did it. And that was it.
Walt
was like, yeah, you're going to do it. And they were like, okay.
Oh, it's so good. So episode 2 starts out with the Haunted Mansion. And it goes through how they're creating the Haunted Mansion, kind of covers some of the effects and stuff in it. And one of the things is they have Kim Irvine, who is a Disney Imagineer, and her mom is Madame Leota.
Oh, gas.
And she's in the ride talking about them, how they created Madame Leota, like all this kind of stories from it. And her mum is also the voice of Constance at the end of the ride when she's like, hurry back. And her mom has since passed away. But she says every so often she just likes to go into the ride because she gets to say hi. There was a hilarious moment where she was saying she was with her kids and they were going through the Madame Leota seance room, and she was saying to her kids, like, there's grandma, wave to grandma. And she was like, everyone around me thought I was a lunatic, but she was like, but it was actually grandma. And I'm just like, oh, what a life. But I didn't know both her parents were Imagineers, and that's how they met. And then she became an Imagineer because Walt, they needed so many people to help up in Florida that they were just like, yeah, get your kids in part-time, teach them how to do stuff. So that's how so many Imagineers became Imagineers after their parents, because they were just brought in.
Because they were just there when it happened.
Yeah, which is fascinating. So yeah, it goes through Haunted Mansion, and then it goes on to Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and then it kind of briefly touches on Tokyo Disneyland.
It's because we don't talk about her. Yeah. She's not owned by us.
But the next episode is Paris, and I'm dying to see it because I've seen some screenshots of it, and it shows you them building the castle.
The prettiest castle ever.
Honestly, like, fight me on it, people. Like, Paris is the prettiest castle.
But like, you get people whose home park is Disney World, and they'll come over to Disneyland Paris and they'll be like, oh yeah, prettiest castle.
Oh yeah.
It's a pity she's fallen down.
Yeah.
She is, like, decrepit. Decrepit? Was that the word?
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she is. Yeah. She is tumbling down.
Yeah. She needs, because, like, I even noticed it because when we were there in October, I had my new fancy super zoomy lens. So I have a bunch of pictures of, like, really close up of the castle and the turrets and stuff. And when they finish Hong Kong, I hope they just are like, right, Paris, come here to me with your castle.
Like, I would happily take a year's worth of scrim if it meant that when she was done, she was perfect.
Yeah, and I really hope they do it before the 30th as well, because
everything
else got such a big facelift before the 25th that I'm like, give us a pretty castle for the 30th, please and thank you.
Imagine her with a little new pop of pink. Oh.
Yeah, if they give it a new paint job like they gave the Disneyland castle, beautiful.
So like same colour but different colour.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Gimme. If you've not been able to watch The Mandalorian or The Imagineering story, we feel you. The Imagineering story in particular, we were very graciously sent a way of watching it from the lovely Sandy. So thank you, because it was the one thing that I could not get my hands on. But yeah, give it a watch if you can, but it's absolutely amazing. If you love Disney, I mean, if you don't love Disney parks, fair play to you for listening to this, but if you love Disney parks history and stuff, definitely go give it a watch. It's well worth it. Well worth it.
So coming back to Disneyland Paris.
Yeah. Let's
talk about all the quick little tidbits that were released for Disneyland Paris this week.
Yes.
Firstly, Sinead, Star Wars.
So, Seasons of the Force for 2020 is going to start on January 11th and it's going to run through to March 15th. And this is the last Seasons of the Force.
How interesting.
I hope they're going to put a different season in there, because they just keep taking stuff out of studios and nothing's really going back.
Yeah, I'd say they're probably doing something. I don't know. My other thinking is, like, are they, like, saving money?
Probably.
Like, is this like if we don't do this season for 2 years, we'll save this much money, and this much money can go into making the Star Wars land that's going to be in the expansion? Maybe. Like, I know it's probably not what's happening, but I wouldn't put it past Disneyland Paris to be like, we're going to skim for 2 years, because leading up to the 30th, we're going to need money for this, and this. And then with the studios project, because you don't know, maybe they run over on something. I know, this is all hypothetical, this is all just rambling. But, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, it's intriguing. I'm sad to see it go, in saying that I've not actually been to see the Force yet, so it's probably my own doing. I'm hoping I'll get to see it next year. Me and Bref haven't booked anything yet, but now that I know that it's the last Seasons of the Force, I really want to go during Seasons of the Force.
But, Seasons of the Force, you say?
Yeah. So, this year, Rey and Chewbacca will be meeting guests. I think Chewbacca's always there, so I think Rey is the new addition, and I don't think she's going to be there constantly. I think it'll probably be like Chewbacca and friends.
I had an overwhelming want to make the Chewbacca noise there, and I know I can't. And
I can't either.
I won't try. But my initial, like, guttural feeling was, Chewbacca noise.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
I wish I could, but I just can't.
No.
And then we're also going to have Kylo Ren roaming around in production courtyard, and he will be interacting with guests. So I hope it's kind of going to be along the lines of
French,
what it's like in
Batu.
French. But who bloody knows, because it can be difficult when you've got many languages.
So many languages.
But yeah, sad to see Seasons of the Force go, but I will hopefully get to go see it before it does.
Speaking of other things going,
yes,
Studio Tram Tour Behind the Magic at Walt Disney Studios Park will close on Sunday, 5th of January 2020. So really not that long away. To undergo its retheme to Cars Route 66. As part of the change, the attraction will receive a new entrance behind Toy Story Playland, and all the final scenes will disappear.
I still find this so bizarre.
I'm so interested to see how this works. So on our trip, just because we're talking about Tram Tour, I don't need to mention it again, the trip report. But, or like the discussion of Christmas, because I'll probably only proper Christmas Sunday. I brought Ed on Tram Tour.
Yeah.
Because he'd never been on it.
And it's closing soon.
It's closing soon. And I was like, it was extra magic time. It was open. I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, okay. And Ed did his master's in TV and film. So I was like, let's just go on this. Maybe you'll enjoy it. And so we went on it, and he was like, I understand what they're trying to do, but it's very crap.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah. But I was trying to explain to him how it's going to be rethemed.
Yeah.
And he was like, but how? And I was like, basically this one good scene they're going to keep, and then everything else is going to go. And he was like, right. Because when you're on it, it's kind of difficult. It's basically just going to go like down, fire, water, and then come back. Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah. From what the little map thing looked like, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I understand them wanting to keep
do you know what?
an attraction.
Also, I think that fire and water scene must cost them so much money. Do you not think it costs them a lot of money to like
probably
hold all that water and like have like the fire and everything? I feel like that's kind of expensive.
Probably.
And they run it like every 10 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know. It also doesn't give a reopening date.
That's because they definitely don't have one. This one's well on the back burner. It's like the railroad. Like, who knows when it's going to open?
Who bloody knows? But sure, at some stage it'll reopen.
And we'll go on it. Lord, if it's Cars, I'll be there, guys.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
And speaking of Cars things eventually reopening, we've had the scaffolding coming down from Autopia, and they've had some nice, lovely new LED lights. It is looking...
Wow, LEDs.
It is looking nice though. I've seen some lovely photos. So the attraction is set to reopen on December 14th.
Set to.
It was meant to be open when we were there.
The very first trip.
Yeah.
All those many months ago.
I wouldn't hold your breath, but I mean, when it is reopened, we'll go on it. Although Brett said that he won't let me drive, which I think is really rude.
Harsh. You can't drive a normal car, so that's your win chance.
So let me drive a fake car. Let me have my moment.
When we were there, Ed was like, look, there's people working on Autopia.
Oh, bless him.
And I was like, oh, you're right. There was like 5 builders like up on the top of something. Oh, yeah. Jesus. I was like, wow, look at them go.
Something's being done.
Yeah. Speaking of studios, Restaurant to Stars, which I've never eaten in.
I actually don't even think I know where this is.
Isn't it the restaurant that is literally exactly down by where the border stops? It looks like it's a semicircle almost.
Maybe?
I think it's that. It has to be that because it can't be literally anything else.
I don't know.
So that restaurant anyway, was a buffet restaurant apparently. I can't believe I've never been in it. Probably because it's a buffet restaurant. It stopped taking reservations for January 5th, 2020. It's being closed and it's going to be rethemed to Ant-Man's Pym Laboratories restaurant, which
I don't know.
It's just Ratatouille, right? It's reopening in 2021 as part of the new Avengers campus. FYI.
Like, that's what I don't understand. Because, like, we already have a restaurant where everything's giant.
Yeah, like, I feel like it was like, oh, Paris has something really cool and original and individual to Disneyland Paris.
So let's do it again.
Because we're going to put it in all the parks.
Like, I don't know. I'm very confused. Because what are they, like...
What's their selling point?
They can't have everything be tiny.
It's like, no, because look at the promo picture from I presume that was D23.
Yeah. But the food...
Everything's huge.
But the food in Ratatouille isn't huge. It's just everything else is huge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what way they're going to do
because they're
this.
rats. Well, I suppose ants are much smaller than rats.
So it's just going to be a bigger.
It's like what? Like a rat's like, I don't know, like 30 times the size of an ant. So it's going to be 30 times bigger than the Ratatouille restaurant. I don't know. I don't really understand where they're quite going with it. It's obviously going to have like a different atmosphere because a Pym laboratory is going to have a different feel to it than Remy's like French.
Yeah, bistro.
Yeah. But sure, look, we'll see how it goes, I suppose.
Yeah.
And if it's rethemed and like looks fresh and clean, I mean, I guess maybe more people will go to it.
Yeah, exactly. In good news, if you like buying Lego, the Lego store in the Disney Village now offers annual pass discounts. You can get 10% off, or you can get an additional 5% discount if you are a Lego VIP loyalty program member.
Ah, yes. And they have very difficulty.
You okay there?
No. And they find it very difficult to find your VIP account when
really?
you go if you don't have your card. Yeah, because Ed tried to use his extra 5% as well. I presume that's what was happening, because she was like, "Are you a VIP member?" And he was like, "Yeah, I am." And so he wrote down the email address, and she was like, "Oh, I can't find it." And he was like, "Oh, it's definitely the email address, because it's the only email address I use for anything."
Yeah.
But anyway, we actually got 10% off when we were in the Lego shop, because Ed bought the Ship in the Bottle and it wasn't exclusive, so we got 10% off. I think if it's an exclusive, you don't get the discount.
Okay.
Because when we checked out, she was like, "Oh, exclusive," and she looked over to the wall and she was like, "It's not an exclusive." She was like, "Yeah, 10%, that's fine."
Oh, okay.
So all you need to do is just show your Infinity Pass, and they call manager over and they take the 10% off.
Cool.
It's no hassle whatsoever.
Fabulous.
So, just a quick overview from DLP Report regarding what the plans are for New Year's Eve.
And the party.
And the party. And the soiree. So, special meet and greets are going to be Bo Peep, who was out for Toy Story for those 6 days.
Yeah.
And Oogie Boogie's coming back, and he's also going to be the New Year's Eve party.
It's like,
It's such a Disneyland Paris thing to do.
It's kind of like they're just, and I get it, however, they're having an annual pass event on the 12th of December, which kind of sums this up. Whereas they're doing kind of like, oh, Bo Peep was really popular and we had her for a wet second. And oh, Oogie Boogie was really popular and again we had him for a wet second. So it's just, it's very DLP.
It's so DLP. They're like, "What we got? Put it out."
It's like, oh, we got a hold of them for this long, may as well use them again.
So Bo Peep and Oogie Boogie are going to be meeting. It says "and more." I presume it's literally every character. Then there's going to be 2 parades, dance in a catchy rhythm, and countdown to fun.
I have no idea what either of these are.
Neither have I. Never heard them in my life. There will also be large-scale fireworks tuned to 2019 movie hits. I hope someone films it because I want to see it.
I'm sure people will.
Also, large-scale fireworks in Disneyland Paris.
Boom, boom.
Whoop. Stitch and Angel will also DJ at Starport.
Hopefully they'll play more than Halo.
Also, Afrojack's DJ in the hub after midnight. Who's Afrojack?
I don't know.
I presume it's a DJ and not a Disney character that we've never heard of.
Probably.
Then also the Winter Waltz by night.
Is that the princess thing?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
But by night.
Ooh.
Which makes it even more alluring.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything for the news.
Except for one thing.
So you know what today is, Sinead?
Today's Tuesday.
And you know what that means. It's Special Guest Tuesday! But this week we're rounding it up for 2. Firstly, just want to hit it in there that I missed Special Guest Tuesday by about 5 minutes when I was there. And I was really disappointed because I didn't realise the parade started at 5, didn't start at 5:30 because they move it up when it gets colder and darker. But I wasn't too upset because it was only frickin' Olaf.
Yeah, it was. I think Christoph and Anna were there as well.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, you again got people to just walk one way down Main Street to walk it back.
Yeah, obviously it made sense because first of all I was annoyed because I missed it.
Yeah.
Then I looked on DLP Report and it was like, oh, it was Olaf. I was like, I actually don't care because we'd actually just come from studios from meeting Olaf.
Ah.
So I was like, oh, that's actually fine. But then I was like, Olaf. But of course, Frozen 2 was released.
Yeah.
So it made sense that they'd coincide the two. But, you know, whatever. Who cares?
Exactly.
And then today's actual guest, Sinead, was...
Yes, Frozone and Mr. Incredible.
What a weird...
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
like they were like, Frozone.
Zone. What we got? Throw it out.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's fine. They're characters that you don't see often in DLP, so sure, why not?
Yeah, ever since they stopped doing that like Incredibles thing in studios, they used to have the Incredibles out all the time on their like little scooter things.
Yeah. Because
they'd come out from where Rock and Roller Coaster is and they'd like scoot.
But they can't do that no more.
No. So yeah, I guess. Bit weird that they only have like 2 of them. You think they'd at least have Mrs. Incredible as well.
Yeah.
C'est la vie. So is Disneyland Paris. And that's it for Special Guest Tuesday.
So I posted on our Instagram yesterday if anybody had any questions or anything like that. So some people had some questions specifically about the Christmas season. So I'll hold on to those for now.
Christmas!
But the lovely Laura from Laura's Palette of Thoughts asked, will you be doing any more episodes on the lands? I'd love to hear a Frontierland one.
So would we!
Laura, we're so desperately want to get back to doing the lands.
Because we really loved doing them.
I find it so interesting.
Because like we're learning along with you guys. Like we've got to learn it to be able to speak about it.
So the last episode we did was an overview of Fantasyland, but we have done nothing about any of the Fantasyland attractions because we just keep going to Disneyland Paris.
But we're not now. I've run out of money. I'm so poor.
I have nothing booked.
I have no trip booked. I would love to go to Disney World next year, so that may happen. But at the moment, nothing's booked.
Yeah.
I have no money to go anywhere. We're getting back down to business.
Yeah, definitely in the new year.
Yeah, I think we might, because like Christmas is obviously going to sneak up on us pretty quickly, and obviously we're both going to be very busy. Like I'm going to be very busy with work because I work in a shop and people like to buy things at Christmas, and just like Christmas can be like complicated with timing things because people need to be places and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll probably have like a bit of a mix up at Christmas, but then back in the new year
with a bang,
Fantasyland, and we will just we'll just continue on with it because we don't have any trips planned. There's no before something huge happens, hopefully. So we can go smack bang right back onto it and we'll go straight back into Fantasyland.
Yeah. So we will be back to it soon, Laura, we promise.
We're not leaving it. We're really not, because it was a great idea for a series.
So never fear, they will be back soon. So yeah, that's everything for questions. As I mentioned, keep an eye out on the Instagram. I always post it on usually a Monday. So if there's anything that you want to know or you might want to ask us or anything like that, keep an eye out and just pop a little question in there. It's always fun.
We love questions.
Yeah. So Kate, you're back.
I am back from my final trip of the year. Do you know what? It's actually quite relieving to say I'm done. Because I have to say, when I was packing for this trip, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is the third time I packed for Disneyland Paris in the space of like 60 days.
Yeah, literally.
And even though I enjoyed every single trip, it's like the monotony of getting there now. And I'm like, oh, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
But I had a great trip.
Good.
It was really fun.
Fab. So we're going to do a little trip report and I'll try ask you stuff that I wanted to know. But we'll start where we always start. The logistics.
There we are. Flab. We flew Aer Lingus.
The
huge 27 takeoff. There was ice on the wings. So
lovely.
We were delayed leaving.
Oh no.
Because they had to defrost the wings.
Yeah.
And also it was a very busy morning. So I just find it interesting that like when it's a busy morning in an airport, you have to wait 20 minutes for a takeoff time. And I'm like, but like you knew all these planes were going to be leaving. Did they not all just have time slots? I don't know. Especially when it's like the first planes of the day. But it was fine, whatever. So we were a bit late leaving. So I actually think we arrived in Paris about 45 minutes late.
Okay.
Or do you know what? I actually think we arrived maybe like half an hour late, but the queue for security was huge because we came in with like 2 other flights. And I was like, God damn it. So the queue was quite big. Couldn't get through the electronic passport things. I tried twice, but the camera wouldn't move to my face. So it just kept doing like the top half of my head. And because I'm so short, it wouldn't move. And it can move down because I've been through them before. But the first time I came out, the one was like, are you 18? And I was like, yes. I was like, I'm 23. She was like, oh, try again then.
Weird.
And then it didn't work the second time. And then I had to, it's not, what I hate is that you've spent 5 minutes just playing about with this computer that's trying to read your face. And then they just put you back in the other queue. It's not like they bring you to the front of it. Oh. They just put you back in the other queue. So then I had to wait like behind 10 other people who were already in the other queue to see a person. And Ed was waiting. He was like, Ed texted me and said, where are you? And I was like, I'm still in passport control. Because he thought I'd like gone ahead or something.
Yeah.
And he was like, where are you? And I was like, waiting for someone to look at my passport and say that I'm allowed in the country.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, that was fine. But then when we got out, there was nobody there with my name on a thing.
Oh no.
And I was like, crap. So I was like, Ed, you're going to have to ring them. Because I wasn't ringing them. So I rang them from my phone, but Ed spoke to them. And the man was like, really sorry, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. And
Okay.
so he did. And he called back and he was like, there'll be a driver with you in 5 minutes. So that was fine. But then it was a really like we weren't stressed. Everything was fine. We were like, stuff happens. We were also late. So, you know, it's fine. But then it was a kind of thing of like trying to find the driver.
Okay.
Because we were worried that he was going to get his sign with my name on it and just walk up to the barriers and face at all the people that are coming out of customs. And I was like, we're not going to be able to see that because we were outside of customs at that point, just in the hallway.
Yeah.
But it was fine. He just like came from the door and I saw him and I was like, that's my name. In the process, we got accosted by 2 people asking us if we wanted taxis. Ugh. And I was like, no. Like, I was not rude, but like I was borderline rude because I was like, and don't you dare ask any of these other people that have just come off this plane with me if they wanted a taxi. And there was a family behind us on the plane and I dropped my phone. Surprise.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know.
No wonder your phones always break.
I always drop my phone on the plane. Anyway, so my phone dropped and it fell under my seat. And before we taken off, and there was this lovely young family behind me, and the little lad was, I'd say, about like 5. And I like literally turned around and I was like, sorry mate. I was like, Matt dropped my phone. Would you mind picking it up? And he was like, what? And the dad was like, this pink phone, Jordan, will you go pick it up? And I was like, cheers mate, thanks so much. And the little dude, bless him, he kicked my seat probably about 25 times through the entire flight. But I don't actually think he was intentionally kicking it, because I kind of looked behind at one stage and I think just every time he was like readjusting himself on the seat, he had to like push his feet up so that he could like actually do it.
Okay.
And I was like, that's fine. And he was like singing throughout the entire flight. Bless him.
Okay.
It was for the fact that I had no cancelling headphones, it was fine. But for like the 5 minutes of when we were waiting to get off the plane, it was awfully endearing.
Fair.
But anyway, that family came out behind us, and I actually felt kind of protective of them. And I was like, I need to make sure that you get to Disneyland safely. But they had tickets for the bus.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, you know what you're doing. That's fine. But yeah, so we got weirdly accosted by 2 people who asked us if we want taxis, and I was like, no, go away. That was fine. Then we got to the hotel, stayed in Sequoia Lodge, Golden Forest, fantastic. If I could say Golden Forest every single time I went to Disneyland Paris, I totally would.
Yeah.
We wheeled in. There was no queue at the special little check-in. We sat down. She was like, would you like a chocolate coin? I was like, I'd love a chocolate coin. Thank you. Ate some chocolate coins. Then we booked through booking.com.
Yes.
Not an issue.
Okay, cool.
The only issue was I couldn't remember that we booked it in Ed's name and not mine.
Oh, for God's sake.
Because I was like, Kate Privet. And she was like, okay. She was like, oh, I can't find it. She was like, spell your first name. And I was like, KT. And she was like, and spell your second name. And I was like, PRVT. She was like, I don't have either of those. And I was like, oh no. I was like, oh no. And then I was like, wait, try Collins. And she was like, oh, Mr. Ed Collins. And I was like, yes. So like because the thing was, we'd booked through my account, but we'd used Ed's card. Because we booked it on Ed's laptop, so his card was already saved into the laptop, and he was like, just use mine because it's easier. So that's why I was so confused, because everything came to me, but it was in Ed's name.
Right.
So that was literally the only issue, was that I couldn't remember who we were. And then once that was solved, everything was fine. She got our little package out. It had Ed's name written on it, because it was like our booking. It had our hotel fast passes in it. Beautiful. It had like maps and everything. And bless her, the only thing was, she was like, do you have tickets? Because she obviously was like, there's no tickets on this. And I was like, oh yeah, we both have annual passes. But then she proceeded to go on with her 5-minute spiel about how the park worked. And I was like, fair, but if you'd have just said to us, have you been here before? You could have saved yourself 5 minutes. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's not a big thing, and I let her do her whole thing, because obviously I wasn't going to interrupt her and be like, I know what I'm doing. You need to know me. Yeah. But everything she did say was very coherent and explained literally everything you could need to know. So if you were staying in Golden Forest and you'd never been to Disneyland before, they give you a great explanation of how everything works. Because they explain fast passes to you, because they explain that you have a hotel fast pass that you can use whenever you want. But then they're like, but if you want more fast passes, this is what you have to do. And she explained the maximum amount of time, and it was all great. She was like, your room's not ready. I was like, I didn't expect it to be. We arrived at like 11. Fair. And she was like, just come back and I'll load the room to your key anytime after 3 o'clock. Beautiful. She took our bags. But she took our bags and they went into a special concierge room, and she was like, we'll have as soon as we get you a room, we'll have your bags brought up. Beautiful. And I was like, what? So that was great. So that we didn't need to go outside or anything. And that was it. Boom. Done. Happy days. That was it. All checked in. So yeah, great time. And then we came back in the afternoon. We came back actually like 3:10 because we were knackered. Yeah. I was like, that first day is always an absolute slog. I was like, I need a nap. Please. So we went back and this other woman put the room on our keys and that was no problem.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, can we get our bags? And she was like, oh, I'll get someone to bring them up to your room. And we were like, oh, we'll just take them with us. She was like, no, I'll get someone to bring them up. It'll be easier. We were like, okay. So then we got back up to the room and it was fine. The room was Nathan
to write home about.
Yeah, it's pretty much the exact same room except we had a kettle and a little espresso coffee machine. Nice. I have to say, the selection of the 3 coffee capsules they gave you were really random.
Oh, okay.
There was like a decaf, a like teeny tiny, really strong espresso, and something else. But I was like,
fair enough.
Whatever. Now, the only thing I have to say is it took about 20 minutes for concierge to bring our bags up.
Okay.
Because I needed something from my bag. And I was like, I'll just go down and get it. Like, I don't mind going down and getting it, but I want it like, I need it like now.
Yeah.
And we had to ring down and be like, sorry. Like, it felt so like Ponzi of us. We were like, concierge said they'd bring up our bags 10 minutes ago and they're still not here.
Yeah.
And the woman was like, I'm really sorry. She was like, I'll find out concierge what's happening. And then they arrived about 5 minutes later.
Handy.
But yeah, that was obviously just sort of some communication error. But yeah, handy dandy. Then Sequoia Lodge breakfast was fantastic as always. The cast member who sat us on the first day was like, I was wearing my Disney Store reindeer ears.
Yeah.
And my Mickey Mouse Christmas jumper. And he was like, you look amazing this morning. And I was like,
that's so cute.
Thank you. And he was like, I love your ears. He was like, I've never seen them before. He was like, are they from Disney? As in, like, because he was obviously aware that, like, other people made. I was like, yeah, they are actually made by Disney. I was like, I bought them in the Disney store at home in Ireland. He was like, wow. He was like, we don't sell them in Disneyland Paris. I was like, no. He was like, it's so great to have something so different. He was like, you really stand out. And I was like, thank you. Meanwhile, Ed hadn't said a thing.
Well...
No, but Ed was like, wow, he was like really into it. And I was like, welcome to the great cast members of Disneyland Paris. Yeah, so I was like, I have to say, every single cast member we met in the Golden Forest was fantastic. Even when we did something that we really shouldn't have. So at one point we went to the drinks in the evening.
Yeah.
And we got there and there was no cast members there at all. And so Ed just went and like got a coffee and then a cast member appeared literally 5 minutes later though. And he was like, can I check your room key? I was like, oh yeah, that's no problems. And he was like, oh, this actually isn't self-service. I was like, oh, sorry. I was like, we've been here for like 5 minutes and there was literally no cast member. He was like, no, it's fine. He was like, do you have everything you need? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, no problems. He was like, if you need anything else, just let me know and I'll get it for you.
Oh, okay, fair.
So we did something we shouldn't have, but like no one gave out to us.
Oh, so it's not like the last time.
No, he was just like, but it wasn't even it was just like, oh, this just actually isn't that. Next time, do this. And we were like, okay, yeah, no problems. He was like, and he was all very pleasant.
Nice.
But yeah, Golden Forest is great.
Yeah, I really want to do Golden Forest to me and Brefco because it was just so nice the last time. And I just really enjoy the idea of just having a nice breakfast there.
It just makes your whole trip so more enjoyable. Like the quick check-in, the easy check-in, and it's really bad that I have to say this, but I feel like the cast members are much more pleasant because they know you've paid extra.
Oh, definitely.
And I hate that that's the thing, but like they're so nice, even to the fact that like the morning of us leaving, we were like, oh, our bags are in our room, do you want us to bring them down? She was like, no, I'll get concierge to go get them, it's no problems. And she checked because we had to get our fast passes, the date changed on them, and so she just like looked at because we brought our whole like package down with so everything just stayed in the little folder that they gave us.
Yeah.
And she like glanced at Ed's name, and then like so then she didn't ask us for the room number because she just knew it was Ed Collins's
very
room.
good.
And I was like, wow, that's weird, because as we were walking away, Ed was like, she didn't ask us for the room number. I was like, she looked at your name on the thing, she figured it out. And I was like, it's like those sort of things. And then when we came to go get our bags later on, she went, Mr. Collins, are you here for your bags? And I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So I was like, this was top notch like guest service. And I was like, this is what I expect when I go to a Disney park. Yeah. And I stay in a Disney hotel. I was like so taken aback. And everyone was so pleasant. And it was just great.
Oh, cute.
So that was the hotel.
Beautiful. So the next thing I have written down is shows. We know there was a particular show that you were going to go see.
Sprite
But what other shows did you go see?
So we went to go see Mickey's Christmas Big Band.
Beautiful.
Which was great, as always. The Donald and Daisy bit is hilarious.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's really good. The whole show was really good. all I'd said was, I remember the last time I was in this room, I fell asleep. I was like, yeah, that was a long day.
That was a day.
But yeah, great show. Loved it. Again, pretty much, like, not again. Again only makes sense if you were here with the conversation with me and Sinead before we turned the mic on. It was mostly in English.
Okay.
Like, I was surprised and also kind of forgot that it was mostly in English.
Yeah.
Which is great, because they're all like Christmas carols and stuff, and I have a feeling they probably don't work in French. I presume they don't translate. Well, I presume like French people just sing the English versions if they're going to. So that was fine. That was a good show. We also saw the Frozen show.
Yes.
That was inside Animation Celebration.
Very good.
Very happy with it. It's really good. Again, here's where my again comes in. Again, like 85% in English.
Okay.
Really surprised that I understood everything that was going on.
Yeah.
The Sven animatronic is fantastic.
That's kind of what I've heard about more so than anything. It's just how
so
good the Sven is.
Yeah. I was like, can I pet him? Like, he felt like a real reindeer. Like, he felt like Sven was actually there.
Fab.
Christoph was great to the point where Ed turned around and was like, can we bring Christoph home? I was like, absolutely, we can. Like, his whole character was really funny. His, like, demeanor with Anna was great. When Elsa was in it, it was really good. It was just great. We had to queue for maybe about 15 minutes outside. It was very popular, obviously.
It had only just opened.
Like, it would literally only just opened and it's frozen.
Yeah.
We've queued for maybe 15 minutes. Like, they only let you queue if they know you're going to get into the next showing.
Oh, well, that's good at least.
Because when we came up, she was like, please wait. Well, no, she didn't say please wait. She just stuck her hand up and, like, didn't let us talk.
Nice.
I was like, okay. And then she turned back and she was like, okay, 10 more. And I was like, oh, we're only 2. Here we go. So that was grand. But yeah, pretty cool. Then it exits out into the meet and greet for Olaf.
Yes.
And the Art of Animation, where you learn how to draw a character.
Excellent.
It is, like, I can imagine if you were a family with little girls, how misleading it would be to exit the ride to see Olaf, but you can't meet Olaf unless you've got a line birdie.
Yeah.
So it's not the best setup. Like, if they could have set it up in a way that you don't actually see Olaf when you exit, that probably would have been better. But anywho, it's Disneyland Paris. What are you gonna?
It is what it is.
And then I also saw the Surprise Mickey show.
Hey,
it was
the
great.
whole reason you wanted to go.
It was great. We also almost didn't see it. We kept missing it.
Oh dear.
We missed like every single one because what we were doing, we were trying to make the most of our time, and every time I planned something, I was like, we're gonna miss that show again, and we're gonna miss this one.
I saw a picture earlier, and the guy that's like Jimmy Ocean in it is the guy that was running The Descendants. It's the same guy.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
I was like, I need to remember to tell Kate because she'll love it.
Yeah, no, it was really good. Yes, there's also like the introduction of new like cast member characters, which was great. This show, however, was majority in French. So if I didn't know what was going on, I wouldn't know what's going on.
Oh, okay.
I was like, to Ed, do you get it? He was like, I think so. He was like, but honestly, it's really not important. And I was like, okay, cool.
The song is catchy. That's as much as you need.
Yeah, I did enjoy that I knew the song. I knew the words to every single song because all the songs have stayed exactly the same. And so I was like, da 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 da, da, and I was like, and Ed was like, what are you doing? I was like, this is me, right? This is what we're here for. So yeah, that was that.
Nice.
Really good times.
I'm trying to think where to go to next. We'll talk about food next.
We didn't really, it sounds weird, we didn't really eat that much.
Okay.
Because we had breakfast in the mornings. Then we ended up having like shite Disneyland Paris coffee at some point in like...
Oh, the DLP coffee is awful.
So bad. Then for dinner on the first night, I regret it. But I was like, do you want to try and go to the Rainforest Cafe? Because recently I'd heard really good things about the Rainforest Cafe.
From the Diz.
And from Eleanor Dreaming, who are do vlogs, their latest trip to Disneyland Paris, they went to Rainforest and they were like, it was great. So I was like, do you mind if we go? I was like, Rainforest is slightly overpriced. It's quite overpriced for what it is.
Yeah.
I was like, but we also weren't paying for dinner the second night because we had meal vouchers. So I was like, he was like, yeah, that's cool with me. I was like, great. And so we went and that was fine. And we went for dinner before park closed.
Okay.
So I was like, do you want to go for dinner like 6:30 before the fireworks? Which was good because we got in before the massive queues. But it was like one of the worst dinners I think I've ever eaten in Disneyland Paris.
Worse than Planet Hollywood?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Like I really didn't enjoy it. Like at least my Planet Hollywood meal, I actually like my Planet Hollywood meal was hard to get wrong. Like it was chicken, macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
So like it was good, like nice comfort food. But in Rainforest Cafe, I got the fajitas.
Okay.
The chicken fajitas. And every piece of chicken I had, now this, I don't know if it's like a personal thing, like a personal preference, but you're probably not going to enjoy this conversation because it's about chicken. But when you eat, when you have a chicken breast, right, there's like bits where it's like a lot of meat, and then there's like veiny bits of the chicken breast.
Yeah.
And I hate those bits. Whenever I cook chicken breasts, I always cut them off before I cut them because I just can't stand eating them. And nearly every single piece of chicken that I was given was like a stringy veiny bit. And I was like, but like I hated it. And I got maybe like 8 pieces of chicken. Yeah. And they weren't big pieces of chicken. And like the rest of like the fajita mix was made up with, I'd say, about a whole pepper and a half cut up.
And you don't like peppers?
Yeah. I understand that it was like fajitas and like peppers come in fajitas, but like never have I gotten like a hot plate for fajitas where it's been like 85% peppers and 15% chicken. Fair. So my tortillas were cold. They weren't even really heated up. And the sauces that I got were a bit rank. And the cheese had like, do you know when grated cheese goes a bit hard? Grated cheese wasn't even like soft. We also had to ask for tap water twice. Right. So like as soon as we sat down, I knew I was going to need water. Yeah. So I was like, can we also get some tap water for the table? And he was like, sure. And so we ordered cocktails. Both of our cocktails were rank. They didn't taste of alcohol at all. They just tasted like sweet, but not even like good sweet. Yeah. They were awful. Then halfway through our meal, I was like, we still haven't gotten water. So Ed asked for water again. He brought over 2 glasses. We waited another 5 minutes. Still hadn't gotten any water. Ed asked again, and your man was like, it's on the way. And I was like, how is it taking so long for a bartender to turn on the tap to put water in a jug? Yeah. So like we'd nearly finished our meal by the time we got water. Lovely. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So we were going to stay for dessert. And I was like, I don't want to stay for dessert. I was like, I don't want to give them any more money than we already have to. So that was that. Lovely. Yeah, so I really don't understand. I don't know if we just got like a bad day or whatever. Like the servers did seem quite like not really know what's going on. Okay. But I feel like a lot of servers in Disneyland Paris don't know what's going on.
I think that's why the food service is generally quite slow.
Yeah. So yeah, it really wasn't a great meal. Like Ed got mozzarella sticks and chicken tenders, and on reflection I probably should have just got the same thing. I mean, because I had one of his chicken tenders that he didn't eat, and it was actually pretty nice. Yeah. So I found it really not great meal. I don't think I'll ever go back. I think that's you done. That's me done with the Rainforest Cafe.
Makes sense.
Then we continued to have breakfast in Golden Forest. Actually, I don't really think we had. See, the thing is, because the evenings ended so early at like 6ish, we ended up just going for dinner then. So we only like lightly snacked in the day, normally with like a muffin or something.
Did you get any of the Christmas stuff?
No, I didn't. Oh, I got the Star donuts that came with coffee, and they were disgusting. They were like fake strawberry flavored icing. Ooh. Yeah, it was rank. Yeah, because I just wasn't really like hungry during the day. The only thing I regret not getting is the hot chocolate, but there was just no point that I wanted it. Okay. So it was just kind of like I did try the cinnamon alcoholic beverage in the Sequoia Lodge bar. Yeah. And the way it's written down, both me and Ed got one because we were like, wow, that sounds really nice. And do you know when you have alcohol and it like warms you up on the inside, makes you feel all fuzzy? Yeah. We thought that's what it was going to be because it was like, ooh, cinnamon with warm notes. I was like, ooh, yeah, that's what I want. It wasn't. Okay. It was fine, but it was more like fruity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was nice. I did struggle to drink the entire thing. Like it was generally when you have like too much of the same flavor. Yeah. But it didn't give the feeling that I thought it was going to as a drink. Right. But it was fine. But then on our second day, we had dinner at California Grill in Disneyland Paris Hotel. And I probably say that was one of the best meals I've ever had in like the past 3 to 4 years. Amazing. Of just like my life. Not necessarily just Disneyland Paris. Yeah. It was fantastic. Okay. So like from the get-go, I went in, I was like, I've got a reservation for like, first of all, we were late. And... They keep your room for 15 room? No, they keep your table for 15 minutes. Okay. And so we got there at like 7:40 and our reservation was for 7:30. I was like, hi, reservation 7:30. He was like, no problems. Now they weren't full in the slightest.
In fairness, and for context, California Grill is the most expensive restaurant in Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, like appetizers are €27.
And the only reason that Kate ate there, and the only reason why me and Breffney ate there, is back in April when we stayed in the Newport Bay and had all of the many issues with Newport Bay. Go back and listen to our trip report for that if you want to know what happened. We complained to Disneyland Paris via email. They comped us. Initially, they gave us 2 premium meal vouchers, but when we said that the next kind of trips we were planning were with our respective partners, they then very kindly extended it so that we got 2 each. So that when Kate went with Ed, she could have 2, and when I go with Breffney, I can have 2 as well. So that's the only reason why we would ever go.
Yeah. Well, in saying that,
you'd be tempted to go back?
Yeah, let me finish my story.
Okay.
And then I'll give you a roundup at the end. So yeah, from the get-go, the second, I don't know what they're called, servers but not servers.
People that check in?
Yeah, kind of. Was like, oh, will I take your coats? And he took our coat. I was from the get-go, I was like, I don't belong here.
We not this fancy.
So he took our coats and he put them on a hanger and he put them in this little wardrobe thing and gave us a little number so that we could come back and get them. Then a server led us to our table and she was like, oh, if you sit here and you sit here, you have a park view. No, it wasn't really a park view in all fairness, but it was the closest she could get us because all the windows were taken. But also the park was closed, so it didn't really matter. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. So they sat us at a table for 4, even though there was only 2 of us.
Okay.
But the place was half empty, so it didn't really matter. Then when we arrived, our server, they gave us the menu and that was fine. And to be honest, I was slightly overwhelmed with how pleasant everyone was. Do you know when you have someone who's 100% pleasant to you, it's quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
To not be, I don't know. I sat down, they gave us the menu and they explained everything to us and I was like, okay. And then about 2 minutes later, our server came over and she was like, hi. And I was like, I'm not ready to figure out what's going on. And she was like, I understand you just sat down. She was like, I'm not here to take your order. She was like, my name's, what was her name? Looked like a name, but wasn't. It was not Claudine or Clarice. I don't know. She was like, this is my name. She was like, I just want to come over and say hi, good evening, how are you? And I was like, we were like, oh, we're good, how are you? And she was like, oh. She was like, yeah, I'm doing pretty well, thank you for asking. So I was like, yes, you're one of those people who never gets asked how they are.
No.
So that was fine. And she was like, do you have any questions? She was like, do you know what menu you can order from? So there's the winery menu, which is €70 if you want to pay for it. She was like, so your premium meal voucher is for the winery menu. You can pick off that. And you also get a soft drink with your voucher. She was like, or you can have whatever you want off the menu and we will just deduct the value of your voucher. But I think the value of the voucher is actually €60, not 70.
Oh, okay.
But I think the cheapest set meal they have is 70 in there. Okay. So you just get that one.
Fair.
So we figured it out and we were like, we'll just order off the voucher menu because there was enough on it that we'd have a nice meal. And she's like, do you have any questions? And I was like, actually, I have Disneyland Paris. I have an Infinity Pass. I was like, am I able to get my free aperitif thing? I was like, I've never used it because I've never been to a sit-down restaurant in Disneyland Paris. She was like, you can't use your discount with a voucher. And I was like, oh, no, I understand. I think she was ready for some form of argument that I wasn't going to have with her. And I was like, oh, no, do I get a free aperitif? I was like, if I can't here, that's fine. I was like, it's grand. I'm just wondering. She was like, yes. And so she took my pass away. She was like, do you know what soft drink she wanted? She did it very cleverly. She knew she was already going to have to go to the bar. So she was like, you don't perhaps know what drink you want, do you? We were like, yeah, we'll take 2 Cokes. She was like, great. So then she came back about 2 minutes later and she was like, and she just passed it to me. She was like, your drinking cocktails are on the way.
Fab. And
I was like, what? So then 5 minutes later, she came back and she brought us our 2 Cokes and she brought us 2 aperitifs. And me and Ed were like, is she charging us for the second one? And then I heard her, she went away and she was like, your sir is complimentary.
Oh, cute.
And I was like, how sweet that they put they obviously figured out that this 30-cent worth of juice, because it was non-alcoholic obviously, was just worth it to make it nice that we both got one.
That's cute.
Yeah, and it was real refreshing. It was really nice. It was orange juice and I think watermelon or something.
Very nice.
It was really nice. And then she took our order. It was lovely for the starters. Don't worry about it. They weren't. The only thing I'll say is that if you were to order everything separately, the starters are €27, the mains are 40 something, and they had a special Christmas dessert that was €34, and it was a Minnie Mouse bow mousse thing.
Jesus Christ.
And I was like, part of me when they put because they had a separate menu just for that dessert.
Okay.
And I had a look and I was like, oh my god, will I just get it as well? I was like, I thought about it for like half a second, and then I realised what it was and how much it was, and I was like, no.
Kate. Absolutely not.
I felt like my 5 seconds of like thinking about it were warranted.
Yeah.
But then like my thinking kicked in, and I was like, no.
Absolutely not.
So that was fine. So I have to say, the main me and Ed got was the pork, and it was the nicest pork I've ever had in my entire life. Because I usually hate pork because it's usually chewy, and that's why I don't like it. It was so tender.
Okay, cool.
And the potatoes were like these baby potatoes, but they had truffle on the top. It was just phenomenal. Like, we were actually both in awe of how nice the meal was.
Nice.
And then for dessert, we both got the chocolate mousse thing.
Okay.
And we both realised that the dessert that costs you €27 is basically the chocolate mousse from Halloween, from the pumpkin. But instead of having strawberry on the inside, it's got coconut milk.
Okay.
Then it's on a bed of the pistachio biscuit thing that we got.
Okay.
With just the raspberries on the side.
Nice.
So your dessert that's €27 costs them like £4 to make.
Probably.
And I was like, wow. Now, it was delicious.
Yeah.
But it was interesting that I'd eaten all the components before as like snacks in the park and knew how much they cost there. I was like, wow. Because as I was eating it, I was like to Ed, I was like, this is exactly the same mousse. And he was like, yeah, it is.
That's so funny.
Isn't it weird? So yeah, that was that. So that was grand. And then I was like, do you know what? I would love a cup of tea. So she came, she took everything away. She was like, how was your meal? I was like, it was actually amazing. Thank you. I was like, would I be able to get some tea? She was like, oh, that isn't included in your voucher. I was like, no problem. So I was like, I will pay for tea. I was like, is it okay? I was like, can I just pay for can I just pay for tea? She was like, oh, of course you can. I was like, fab. So Ed got an espresso and I got tea. She brought me over the teapot and she was like, it's just hot water. She was like, I'll come back with the tea. Obviously, she gets a lot of people who are like, you forgot the tea in my tea.
Oh,
because then she brings over like this big like box and you get to pick your own tea.
Oh, nice.
Because Ed was like, I think she's going to get a tea box. I was like, oh my God, don't tell me. Because I so much stress when you have to pick your own tea. But they had this really nice like mint one and I knew that I needed something like refreshing. So I picked the mint one and it was lovely and everything. Then we got the final bill and we were worried about how much the tea and coffee was going to cost. Because we were like, what if it was
you got to go with biscuits as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, with tea and coffee we got like this plate of like mini desserts. And me and Ed thought it was a test. We were like, if we eat it, do they charge us for it? But if we don't eat it, they don't. This is how much we didn't belong there. Yeah, so it was like 2 small little lemon tart things, 2 tiny profiteroles, and 2 tiny little chocolate things. We couldn't finish it. We were so stuffed. But we had like a try of everything.
Yeah.
But that was really nice. But she brought it down. She was like, oh, I have something else for you. And she was like, and this is for your drinks. And she just put like this little plate down with like little...
Oh, cute.
desserts. I was like, this is fantastic. So we got the bill. The bill was €12.50.
Question. When you booked, did you tell them it was for your anniversary? Like, did they know it was for your anniversary?
They didn't. And no one ever asked us.
Okay.
Which is fine. I was fine with nobody knowing that it was a special occasion. But at no point did anyone ask us. But I think she like understood that it was like a nice meal. Do you know what I mean? She was also just lovely.
Fair.
So yeah, that was that. So for $12.50, we got that entire thing. It was great. So yes, the tea was $5.50, and I think Ed's coffee was €6 or something. I know. Okay. It's like they were expensive for what they were. I think my tea was $6.50 or something. But we were like, the fact that we got that whole meal for free, it's fine. So yeah, fantastic meal. See, that's the thing. I'm like, I wonder would I happily save again to get the winery menu, because the winery menu is only it's €70.
Yeah.
But it was delicious.
Okay.
And the experience was just really nice.
Okay, cool.
Like, everyone's very pleasant.
Nice.
The amount of people that walked past went, bon appetit! And I was like, what? I have to say, every single time our server came over to ask us how we were, I could not have had more food in my mouth.
I feel like that happens. This is totally off topic, but I was in Dundrum yesterday with my folks and we went to Counterburger. And from the time that our food went down to the end of it, 3 individual people came over and asked us how our meal was. Was everything okay? Could they get us anything? Like 3 people. And my dad was like, I would love it so much more if people would stop asking me.
No, it wasn't like overbearing or anything. But I turned to Ed every single time. Like, luckily Ed was able to say something. But I was like, I think she like picks the moment that I like shove the most food I possibly could in my mouth.
Same thing happens with me, breath.
I was like, So yeah, it was a great time. and I would consider just saving.
Okay.
To go back for like a set meal for like something nice. I think me and Ed both agreed that it was a really nice meal, but you'd only do it for like special occasions.
Yeah.
What hurt me was the amount of like families who were clearly just staying in Castle Club and were just having their dinner.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah, because if you have that premium meal thing, you could eat there every single night.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I'd been on the fence about where I wanted to use, because unfortunately the Disneyland Paris vegetarian options in all of the restaurants are honestly a bit shit.
Correct. There.
And even I think the vegetarian option in California Grill, I'm a little unsure about. But I think there's a vegetarian starter that sounds nice, and then I like the sound of the dessert, so I could just...
The beetroot thing with the cheese was nice,
I hate beetroot.
It didn't taste like beetroot. That was my thing. That's why it was nice. It didn't taste a thing like beetroot.
Oh, I don't know if I'd risk that, because I proper... Like, beetroot makes me want to gag.
Okay.
I hate it. It tastes like mold.
It didn't look like beetroot. Didn't taste like beetroot. It was like shaped into like a little cone. Yeah, with like this lemon thing. Oh, it was actually surprisingly nice.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it though. So like, I'm glad a good thing came out of the terrible experience we had.
Yeah, like I was so happy I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
Because I was like, because it was like it was our anniversary dinner, so like I wanted it to be nice.
Yeah. But
also I didn't want to be like, oh, for fuck's sake, like the one place that's supposed to be like high end Disneyland Paris, and it was crap. Do you know what I mean? The funniest thing was when we came out and we were both in sort of a food coma, and they were doing a character swap in Inventions. And Ed was like, did I just see Pinocchio walk into that restaurant?
Gas.
And I was like, probably. It was so like out of the blue.
I suppose because you're in this like nice little like decadent, like fancy bubble, and then you're just like, oh no, I am still in Disney.
And he was like, was that? And I was like, oh yeah. And I was like, here come the rest of them. And the amount of adults who physically threw their children at Minnie Mouse.
Jesus.
Like the woman had her baby in her arms and she was like thrusting her in front of Minnie. And I was like, you need to stop. I had to walk away. I was like, I can't watch this. Ed was like, I can. I was like, the amount of, like, they were pulling on her dress, and I was like, no. I was like, I can't watch this.
Oh, no.
It was awful. I couldn't. Anyway, so that was that.
Lovely.
Then, yeah, we talked about the Frozen celebration. That's fine. Bought a good few things.
Yes.
Bought some things for you.
You did.
Bought some things for me.
Got me a pin, and you got me the Pirates of the Caribbean book.
Yeah, but you bought your pin, because I was like, oh, wonder if she wants this.
I realised afterwards I actually do have an Oogie Boogie pin, but it's the one from Mickey's Not So Scary, whatever year you got that guy to order us all the stuff.
Oh, that was years ago.
The like masquerade one.
Oh, yes.
But I don't have a just Oogie Boogie one. But
I found it interesting that I didn't have them at Halloween.
Yeah.
It's such a DLP thing to do.
You're getting it ready for New Year's.
Like, they're very popular though. That's why the only reason I sent you a picture was because there was only 4. But there was like there was 4 spread out on like 5 prongs that were like all empty.
Lovely.
So I was like, I have a feeling these were quite popular. So I got that, and I got the Pirates of the Caribbean book,
which is very nice.
You're welcome. I also got myself the Disneyland Paris A to Z book, the 25th anniversary purple one, because it's 40% off. Beautiful. So it only cost me €30, and I was pretty happy to pay €30 for a book that big.
Yeah.
FYI, you don't get discount on books.
I find that so strange.
Yeah, me and Ed had a conversation about it. He was like, I don't think the markup on books is probably not pretty big. So
yeah, makes sense.
That's probably why. I also got myself 4 pins. I can't remember all of them. I got a Mary Poppins one. I got a Hyperspace Mountain one. I got a Russell one. And I got another one, and I can't remember what it is, which is killing me. Ed bought me the Rapunzel one because couldn't find it. He got it for me. It was awfully sweet. I also got the small character plush of Mickey Mouse in his like little formal attire because it was the POP and it only cost me $10 and nobody judged me. I also got, but you get discount on top of the POP price, so it actually only cost me like $8.50.
Oh, handy.
It's that's the price of a beanie, like.
Where would you be going?
And I also bought a Christmas mug, and that's all we're going to say about that. So yeah, I actually bought a couple of things. Do you know what I really wanted but didn't buy was the Frozen tulle skirt.
Okay. Because
it was really pretty, but it was also €65.
Maybe not.
No, and it was like subtle frozen. Like you don't actually notice it's frozen until you're up close to it.
Okay. But
I didn't buy it because that was stupid. So yeah, that was all the merch I got. The merch that was there wasn't, the only new merch was the Frozen 2 stuff.
Okay.
And literally everything else was exactly the same.
See, that's the downside to going so often. Everything is all the exact same.
There was a couple of new pins that I spotted.
Yeah.
That like weren't in like the new pin poster thing.
Which we've still not had a December one. Or at least not one that I've seen.
Oh, true.
Maybe in the next few days.
It's usually like an hour after we record that it's released. Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty much it for the merch.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I know you were excited about the characters and stuff. So who did you end up meeting? I know you met Olaf.
I met Olaf after much trepidations. Met Olaf. Olaf was good. We did feel slightly rushed at Olaf, which I hate, because you know the way when there's like a bunch of kids in front of you and kids take ages, which is fine. But then you come along and the photographer's like, okay, thanks. And I'm like, I didn't get all the shots I wanted. It was one of those kind of things. Yeah. But I got to hug him and that was fine. We also met Remy and Emile.
Lovely.
Who were great. They were both so funny. Then Linguini was walking out and about in Paris. So we walked past him a couple of times. He was very good. He also handled crowds pretty well. It was one of those like you gotta walk up to him and he's gotta pick you kind of things, which I don't really enjoy or support. So I didn't do it. But he was very good at like when a massive crowd did form, he basically just like walked away and was like, I gotta find Remy, and like would walk and just talk to somebody else. So like there was a woman eating something and he was like, oh, you know, you put a pinch of this and a pinch of that and that. And I was like, oh, that's good.
That's cute.
Yeah. Who else did we meet? We met Pluto, who was cute, got them pupper cuddles. We also met Christmas Donald.
Yeah.
Who was fantastic.
That's good.
So happy. So I borrowed your spirit jersey. By the way, I'm going to give it back to you and you're going to have to wash it yourself because the white on the bottom of it scares me. And everything I wash that's white, I ruin.
Right.
So you can just have it back.
Okay.
Unwashed. Because I'll ruin it.
Okay.
I'm so scared. So yeah. So I had your spirit jersey on and I had my Donald ears. And it was freezing because it was the last morning. And so we were queuing for extra amount of time and that was fine. And then we got up to be like the next person. And so I like took my coat off and gave it everything dead. And the one behind me was like, man, the thing we do for pictures, eh? I was like, yep. But Donald loved it. He loved the spirit jersey. He was like, oh my God, it's me. I'm everywhere. I was like, yes, you are.
Cute.
He made me turn around, like read his name on the back, looked at my ears, got to give him a kiss. It was great.
Cute.
Highly enjoyed. He made me like jump up and down and we did like duck butt wiggles. It was great.
Cute.
He like, it was good. Like Donald understood that I was there for him.
Yeah. And
he like baited into it.
That's adorable.
It was fantastic. Who else did we meet? I feel like we met somebody else.
You met Sully.
Oh yeah, I met Sully. That was great. I remember we came out of Tower of Terror. I think we came out of Tower of Terror and I was walking and I saw the queue and I was like, it could only be Sully. And we turned around the corner and I was like, oh my God, Sully. And I just ran over and I turned dead and I was like, we're queuing. He was like, okay. So we queued and he went for a break just as we were the next people, which was fine. But then we went up and that was grand. But something happened and all three cast members who were with Sully were focusing on this one guest who was complaining about something. So when we wanted a picture together, there wasn't a single cast member there to take a picture of us. But I wasn't leaving without a picture of both of us. And so this lovely man in the queue was like, would you like me to take a picture? I was like, do you mind? Because I like kept looking at the cast members and I was like, oh, sorry, do you mind taking a picture? And like none of them were looking at me.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I don't know what was happening. But some man in the queue was like, do you mind if I take the picture? I was like, I would actually, thank you so much. And so he was like, okay, now scary. And I was like, oh, you're into it. I was like, you're a dad that's into it. Fantastic.
Love it.
And so he took, like, he was one of the people who just kept snapping. And I was like, fantastic. I did make a comment. I was like, wow, 3 cast members, 1 guest. Like, I wasn't too impressed. But it was like, if something had happened with Sully, like, we were, let's say we were not nice. If he was
mobbed.
Yeah, like, let's say we were not nice guests and we decided to do something, none of those cast members were paying attention.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a bit shit. But anyway, delighted I got to see Sully.
Did you meet Miss Bunny?
No.
Okay.
Just didn't.
Fair.
We never, see that's the thing, like we were doing so much, like I think our main aim was like to utilize our time as much as possible, that we ended up being like on the opposite side of the parks for certain things. But it wasn't a big deal. We saw them from afar. They were cute. That's all I pretty much needed. We also saw Santa Stitch from afar. His queue was always huge.
I would imagine.
So I was like, I don't need that in my life, thanks.
That's fair.
So yeah, great character times all around. We actually had a really good time with characters.
That's good. I'm just going to pull up, I asked if anybody had particular questions about not the Halloween season.
No! Would you stop it?
About the Christmas season. So, collect the castles, which I'm pretty sure is Wendy, that we used to work with in Disney.
Okay.
She said, special season things to see, ?
The decorations on Main Street.
Yes.
The Christmas tree. They do a Christmas tree lighting ceremony thing at like 6:30. Mm-hmm. We didn't actually catch it, but I've seen it on Instagram and it's really cute. There was definitely something else specifically seasonal. Oh, the gingerbread house in the Disneyland Hotel.
Does it still smell glorious?
Yes. Ed was like, is it real gingerbread? I was like, oh yes it is. Look at this here. It's got a list.
Look at the ingredients.
So yeah, I think my main like seasonal things would definitely be, well, one obviously like just in general the seasonal characters, but then also walking down Main Street and like hearing the bells and getting the snow, and then popping into the Disneyland Hotel and having a look at the gingerbread house and the tree there as well.
Beautiful. And then the lovely Mary, who is Belle_Snow_Arwin98. I think she goes really, really soon. She said, is there, and if so, where can we find Santa?
Yes, there is a Santa. He's in the meet and greet with Mickey Mouse. Mm-hmm. They share a house at Christmas time. From what we've known, it's very, very difficult to get there quickly. The queue tends to be like an hour from like opening time. So if you do want to meet Santa, we highly suggest going and queuing during extra magic time, because if you arrive at 10, the queue is going to be like 2.5 hours long, because they don't deal with that queue very well in terms of giving back green and orange pass return times. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know what it is with that queue that they just prioritize green and orange pass return times than the standby queue. I don't know what it is. But yes, you can meet Santa, but I suggest the earliest possible.
Cool. And they were the only 2 questions we had. But overall, what would you give the Christmas season?
9.
Out of 10? 9?
Yeah.
Ooh, what would make it a 10? Better merch?
Yeah. I think that's always the thing that I'm missing, is like better merch. Because there was nothing new Christmassy. Like the lack of Christmas pins was insane. Like if they had 10 good Christmas pins, I would have bought all of them, and that's just the truth.
It's like me with Halloween. Like had those Halloween pins been there, I would have bought, except for the Winnie the Pooh ones which were there, I would have bought them all. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and if they had, like, do you know the ugly Christmas jumpers they do in Disney World, and the big fluffy spirit jerseys they've done, like fluffy spirit jerseys in Florida compared to fluffy spirit jerseys in Disneyland Paris,
they would make a killing.
Like they're $75 in Florida.
They would make an absolute killing off fleecy spirit jerseys.
I probably would have bought 2, because I love like fleecy cozy things.
So you had a good trip.
Yeah, excellent trip. Nice round off to my 5-trip trio.
5-trip trio.
You heard me.
So you've no qualms with going back at the same time next year?
No.
With Amy?
I love Christmas. I'll go every Christmas.
That's fair. Good call. And there is supposedly supposed to be a new Christmas parade next year, so I guess we'll get to have a go at that.
Woo!
How exciting.
Christmas.
So yeah, hopefully for the next little while anyways, we don't have any trips booked, so there might be some off weeks around Christmas, but I might see if I can convince Breffney to maybe record some movie episodes with me.
Oh, cute.
Because we've gotten into a rhythm now of watching Disney movies at the weekend, so I'll convince him to do that. But yeah, thanks very much for listening, guys. As always, be sure to check us out on Instagram at MickeyWafflesPod. Kate has seemingly tons of pictures from her Christmas trip, so she'll be posting loads of those because I don't have any of those. I've posted the ones she sent me.
Yeah. I had like a select few that I was like, oh, this one and this one and this one. And a bunch are on Ed's phone as well, so I'll have to just collect them all and put them out.
Yes. So yeah, thanks very much for listening, guys. If you do have any questions or anything like that, or anything that you want to know, be sure to send them over. We will collate them for the next week. And yeah, that's everything for me.
Yeah, I've nothing to add.
Excellent.
You covered all bases. I was listening and I was like, yep. Super.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Bye.